The long way home. Sometimes life doesn't break you, it just bends you, quietly. So quietly you don't notice it until one day you look at yourself in a mirror and wonder when you stopped being the person you meant to be. That's what happened to me. And that's how I ended up on Highway 41 at 3 in the morning, driving back to the town I once promised I'd never return to. The town I used to call home. Chapter 1. The road was empty, just me, the hum of the engine, and a sky full of stars that looked too cold to care. I hadn't planned on coming back. Not really. But when my phone rang earlier that evening, when the sheriff told me my dad's house had been broken into, something in me shifted. I don't know if it was guilt, or responsibility, or just the exhaustion of running out of excuses. Whatever it was, I drove. Miles and miles, past towns with names I didn't recognize, past old gas stations lit by flickering neon, past memories I thought I'd buried a long time ago. And then finally, the sign appeared. Welcome to Willow Creek, population 3,982, same as it was 20 years ago. Funny how some places don't grow. They just age. Chapter 2. Dad's house sat at the end of a quiet street, paint peeling, porch sagging just a little more than I remembered. The kind of place that looks tired even in daylight. The door frame was cracked where someone had forced it open. Inside, drawers pulled out, boxes dumped on the floor, papers scattered like fallen leaves. Whoever broke in wasn't looking for valuables. They were looking for something specific. And maybe that should have scared me. Instead, I just felt hollow. The kind of hollow that comes from realizing you don't know your own father anymore. Not who he was, not what he was hiding, not what kind of trouble he left behind. I sat on the edge of the sofa, the same faded green sofa I grew up on, and whispered into the dark, "Why now, Dad? Why this?" But the house had no answers. It only breathed. Old houses do that at night. They breathe like tired animals. Chapter 3. By morning, the town felt almost familiar. The diner was still there, Mel's, with the same bell on the door, the same smell of bacon and burnt toast. And there she was behind the counter. Claire. We went to high school together. We weren't close, but we shared the kind of quiet understanding people share when they grow up in the same small town. She spotted me instantly. "Well," she said, wiping her hands on her apron. "Look who the wind dragged back." I smiled, a small one. The kind that comes from someone remembering you without judgment. "Coffee?" she asked. "Please." She poured it without another word. That's the thing about small towns. Nobody asks why you left. They just see that you're back, and that's enough. When I told her about the break-in, she didn't look surprised. "Your dad was complicated," she said softly. I waited for more. She didn't give it, but her eyes did. Her eyes said she knew something. Maybe everyone here knew something. Everyone except me. Chapter 4. Sheriff Mason looked older than I remembered, more gray in his beard, deeper lines on his face. "Your dad got himself mixed up in something," he said, leaning back in his chair. "Don't know what exactly, but folks were asking about him, people not from around here." "What kind of people?" He shrugged. "The kind you don't want to owe money to. The kind you don't want to owe anything to." I felt my stomach tighten. So this wasn't random. "No," he said quietly. "It wasn't." He paused, studying me. "Look, I know you and your dad had your differences, but whatever's going on, it didn't die with him." Something about the way he said that chilled me, as if my father had left behind a ghost I didn't mean to inherit. Chapter 5. Back at the house, I started going through Dad's things, Old toolboxes, stacks of newspapers, boxes of letters he never mailed. I found pictures of us when I was young, pictures he'd hidden away, as if he didn't want to remember the years before everything fell apart. Then, in the back of a drawer, taped under a false bottom, I found a small notebook. Black cover. No name. Inside, addresses, dates, amounts of money, and one line written in shaky handwriting. If anything happens to me, tell her I'm sorry. No name. No clue who she was. Just an apology floating in the dark. I sat there on the bedroom floor, notebook in hand, and for the first time since coming back, I felt grief. Not loud grief. Not the kind you cry out, but the quiet kind. The kind that sits behind your ribs like a small stone. The kind you don't know how to carry. Chapter 6. That evening, I walked through town, needing air, needing space. Willow Creek looked the same old storefronts, same cracked sidewalks, same mix of nostalgia and decay. And then I heard someone call my name. "Hey, I thought that was you." It was Ryan, my childhood best friend. We drifted apart after I left for college, but seeing him now felt like opening a door I thought was nailed shut. We ended up talking for an hour, about school, about the town, about how life never turns out the way you think it will. Then he said something I didn't expect. "Your dad came to see me a few weeks before he passed." I stopped walking. "What? Why?" "He said he was trying to fix something, make something right." I didn't know what he meant. I felt that line, make something right, lodge itself somewhere deep. My dad had been running from something, or toward something, or both, and whatever it was now mine to face. Chapter 7. That night, sitting alone in the house, I went back through the notebook, cross-checked the addresses, looked at the dates. Then it hit me. These weren't debts. They were deliveries, drop-offs, places he'd driven in the last year of his life. Dad had been doing side jobs, driving for people who paid in cash, people who wanted to stay invisible. He wasn't in debt. He was involved. And that meant the people who broke in weren't looking for money. They were looking for whatever he didn't deliver. A chill ran through me, because in a way, I was now standing exactly where he had stood, on a line between right and wrong, past and present, home and nowhere. Chapter 8. The next morning, I drove to the lake just outside town, the place where Dad used to take me fishing when I was a kid. The water was still, completely, as if the whole world had paused long enough to listen. I opened the notebook one last time. Then I closed it, placed it on the old wooden dock, and let the wind take a few pages. I wasn't going to continue whatever he'd been mixed up in, but I also wasn't going to pretend he was a villain. He was human, flawed, messy, stubborn, but human. And maybe coming back wasn't about fixing his mistakes. Maybe it was about finally letting go of the ones I carried too. Chapter 9. On my last night in Willow Creek, I stood in the driveway, looking at the house. The porch light flickered, same as it always had. I took a deep breath. For the first time, it didn't hurt. Some places break you. Some places save you. And some places just remind you of who you used to be, so you can decide who you want to be next. When I got into the car and pulled onto the road, I didn't feel like I was running anymore. I felt like I was finally going home, wherever that would be. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and a comment. It helps me know there are real people on the other side of the screen, and it helps me keep writing these same honest, warm stories.